Good thing Lulu's banned.
Yep.
She would be trouble.
Bjergsen been loving Gragas still.
I know, he's trying to get all his Gragas games in before the rework. Although, interestingly enough, it seems like all of TSM's losses happen when Bjergsen is on Gragas. He's a very volatile champion as far as performance is concerned.
Yep. You would think that would be one of the strength plays, real lane bully. Bjergsen loving that aggression that the NA brought to the table early in lane, and he soaked that right up and said, I'll play that style. I like it just as good. Renekton being banned out. Dyrus, always a huge bully on that. Has an extra few muscles when he plays Renekton and the Kha'Zix. So leaving up the Evelynn in the jungle as well. May see that being picked up, and the Elise. Fresh first picker.
Exactly. Leaving a couple options. Shyvana and Eve are very potent for TSM. It's a little lackadaisical on the crowd control, though. But that's also TSM style.
Hitting it up as well. The Odd One has had a little bit shaky of jungle presence recently. He's been playing well, then more off games than not. The team, with as much strength as they have, kind of hides any of those.
Yeah, absolutely. Just trying to get back to their laning phase, I think, is going to be key for these guys. I wonder if they're going to just opt in to the 3v1s once again instead of trying to actively fight against it.
Yeah.
They know where XDG is going to be going with their push. They're going to send 2 to 3 people down bottom lane. TSM can match it if they so choose. It'll be up to them.
Patiently waiting. ManCloud now possibly picking an AD carry out. They don't know who they're up against. Zuna feeling pretty comfortable on some Kog'Maw lately. I believe he was one also to bring out some Twitch, which we haven't really seen too much of.
Zuna's tried a few other things. Yet to show much success, though. As Snoopy was saying in the interview, too, Xmithy has been struggling a fair bit in the jungle. But the Jinx is a Zuna-style champion, I'd have to say.
Absolutely. May even see the 2v1 come in. They're holding in the bottom lane for this one. They wouldn't be the ones to swap, so it'd be some nice turret damage they get. Looks like we're going to get a wild Corki coming in if he locks that one down, and he does.
Corki Karma, maybe?
Corki Karma is a possibility.
Yeah.
A lot of teams have been bringing that out. Mainly, you see Lemon Nation and Sneaky. But they did switch up the comp as well to have a Corki and a Morgana, I believe, at one point on another team.
Bjergsen looking to Turtle for some advice. Clarify, 3 of Bjergsen's 4 losses on TSM have actually been on Gragas.
Yeah, Turtle used to be a mid laner, so good chat they're having.
It's true.
This is what I would play. Oh no, it's going to special.
Do the Corki Karma, waiting for the last pick for the counter. The smart move for Bjergsen. He wants to be able to counter exactly what ManCloud throws at him. Mid lane will be a focal point of this matchup. ManCloud gets so much of XGG's farm in these games.
Gotta say, pretty good looking picks. At least on Xmithy, we'll definitely have to watch. Benny getting Thresh for Sheep is very good for XDG. Gives him a little bit of lane control and initiations when everybody starts roaming around. If Sheep can land a good hook, we always know he's not afraid to make plays. But now XDG is trying to round out this composition. Right now, not showing us too much.
Ooh. Round out the composition with a round Orianna ball.
Another shield, yeah.
Potentially.
Be quite nice.
Also got to wonder what Benny's going to throw in the top lane. Will it be Trundle? Or will he do something different? He did play some Warwick at the very start of the year.
That's true. Dyrus and Benny bringing out that Warwick after EU showed it. Rise could be the lock-in, and the time has gone. Looks like Benny is going to be locking down Rise in the top lane. What is the answer for Bjergsen? Still has that Gragas. Be quite easy play. Orianna doesn't fare well against Gragas once you get that level 6.
It's actually, I think it's a very interesting matchup. I think back to Season 3 World Championship, there was actually a lot of Orianna play.
That's true. She came out because of that
real
situation.
Good against Gragas, especially the early laning. That was actually before some of the Gragas changes, though. Gragas is slightly modified since then.
Lost a little weight.
Yeah, this would be actually the last time for TSM to try that. But the Syndra fight Orianna's ball with more Syndra orbs.
Yep. Good call.
Yeah. Having more is always better.
And a applies in the split pushes as well. We've been seeing in the early game. The more is better so far. Lock in here. Bjergsen's going to hold it out. And it is the lock in for Syndra. We saw some LCS big plays coming out of that champion when he did bring it out. So expect to see some great plays again.
This last Syndra game, he went 7-1-1, really carried TSM to victory. Obviously, Syndra's win rate in the NLCS is less than stellar. That one victory was the only one she's had in the LCS the last time Bjergsen played it. But he was a big Syndra player over in Europe as well before he signed with TSM and became the superstar that he is now.
So with TSM's composition, it looks like they'll fight well, but how are they going to find these fights? Where does it come from?
Yeah, a lot of it will have to come from Eve and just Odd1 finding the right windows with which to initiate. And then the start of it was actually going to be heavily dependent upon Bjergsen's ability to land stuns. But that's all right. He's really good at Syndra.
It's indeed really good at Syndra. This game's about to go live, so we're going to tally the votes over at lolesports.com. It's a big one. 93% of you think that TSM is going to come out on top of this match.
TSM definitely has the most 90% plus votes.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, of any team. It's because they typically don't lose to anyone below the top 3. The only game they've lost to someone below the top 3 this year was against Coast.
Right.
Just the once.
And you gotta think of their losses when they are like that. It was a hard-fought game. It was kind of the last point, and they were able to get a hit on the Nexus, right? It's not a game that you're going to see all the time. It's a game that they pushed themselves into and had some problems. Hopefully not here. We're going to see big plays. XDG is trying to get themselves more win as they go towards 7-8 spot, and it's going to be huge coming into the playoffs as well with Choice. Pretty big game here for XDG. Getting the win will position them to mean if they can beat EG, they clinch for sure. So it's going to be very, very interesting here for TSM. TSM playing for momentum as well. They did not look good in their defeat to Cloud9 yesterday. Right.
They
very scattered.
Should be wanting to get back at it immediately.
We'll see if they've corrected the chaos. We are on to the Rift, Game 3 here. We get some sheep shout-outs from the crowd and family, and XDG is going to be heading down the mid lane, getting pings out. That's TSM saying that we're going to hover the bottom side, and XDG be hovering the top. Actually, check this out. X-Special started with a lot of wards. Wow, and a sweep, yeah.
The return of something new. Let's see how they try to modify this strategy here. X-Special, not a fan of this side of the map, as he said in the interview yesterday. But with this ward start, it opens them up for a lot more control. You can see they can now scout their own buffs because of those early wards. But they did just walk through the early ward of Sheep, so expertly placed by XDG. However, because TSM has already warded their own buff, they're going to get tipped off if XDG goes through, which they will.
Oh, they're going to put that deep ward in again. All the way down to see who actually approaches the lane after this happens. Hasn't happened in a long time.
They're scouting like they want the 2v2 really bad.
Yes. So we'll see if TSM can get what they want out of this. We usually see that ward going over towards golems and whatnot when wards could be started, or golems rather.
Well, yes, and because they walked past this ward of XDG, XDG might be expecting to run into a bunch of dudes. There's a lot of stun potential from XDG if Sheep lands his initial stun.
We do have teleports in the top lane. Benny and Dyrus taking that. And without finding XDG rotating back around to see what's happening, TSM steals the red, XDG steals the red, and the game is underway.
Yeah, and it's actually this time XDG doing the two-man top lane from the blue side. Going to try and mix things up a little bit. That's what TSM's early scouting has provided them with. It lets them push the bottom lane, which theoretically has the faster turret push, but against a Jinx, it's going to be somewhat equalized. So still the lane swaps, just not the lane swaps TSM necessarily wanted. They probably wanted the 2v2, but this gave knowledge, at least, that their bottom lane could go bottom.
And still very strong counter jungling. Dyrus and Odd1 sticking together, as we see some junglers do. And there's Benny and Smithy playing hip to hip, little buddy system. We'll see where Odd1 goes after he is able to get level 3. Should be straight down to that bottom lane. And still actually help coming in from Benny, as Dyrus and Odd1 are now not sharing experience anymore.
Yeah. So jungle time for Dyrus. Jungle time for Odd1, which will quickly turn into lane time, I believe.
That's a big hit. We'll have to see how on point Bjergsen is with Scat of the Week. When we saw Voyboy playing up against LeBlanc, he would hit her out of distortion. Not going to have so much gap close from Orianna, but you still have to worry about how the ball is controlled on Ori's side. It's a great way to zone out your opponent. Smithy finding out Dyrus on the golems. It shouldn't be too bad, but it will slow Dyrus down.
Yep. This is another 4 versus 3. XDG using Smithy to heavily deny Dyrus, more so than normal, but it's limiting XDG's turret's speed a little bit.
Be nice to get him over there. You see him throwing down Frenzy. They're trying to take it down ASAP. The bottom turret taking some damage as well. And they've actually got a good head start on it. Simple 1-2. Looks like XDG will not be too far behind. And with that 4-man, we'll see how strong it really becomes. In the top lane, missing Scat of the Week, but both mana bars are about the same as ManCloud and Bjergsen. Now mid lane becomes the island, and these 2v1s are trying to just push each other out still to the side lanes. All the gold to be taken.
Much like last game, this would be a question of whether the 4-man stack decides to continue to push, and that would actually force 2 defenders back from TSM. So that would mean Dyrus and another if they want to defend, but it actually feels like XDG is not going to try and push forward. Again, we get that 2-for-2 trade.
See what TSM decides to do, though. With all of that knowledge of power in the top lane, they are going to back.
It might continue.
Not going to be able to go for Dragon out of this one. Seeing what kind of pressure is in the mid lane. Bjergsen's down 9 CS there, so he can't come to help. And it looks like they are going to have Xmithy back, so not too much power is left here from XDG, and TSM can kind of recuperate.
Yeah, Dyrus getting the backup of Wild Turtle, meaning that the XDG team has to fall back. The mid lane very early getting 1 out by ManCloud.
I was going to say, he can't just walk away from that.
He can. And he did. That was actually really good harassment by Odd One.
Yeah.
ManCloud
was going to miss it.
ManCloud was going to be able to go back and get a chalice and some boots, but it's prevented.
He looks like, yeah, he actually completely stays in the lane. Very interesting.
Yeah, he kind of has to, otherwise Bjergsen will hit level 6 before him and have that quick edge.
Great little plays without Bjergsen even needing to be a part of it. Odd One really staying in the back pocket there in the mid lane. Also level 4 to Xmithy's level 3 with this little bit of harassment he's been doing. You always see behind, he comes again for it. ManCloud throws down the shield and the barrier at the same time. Very nice job putting the ball back out for zoning control. Sheep is there, Xmithy. Benny comes in with a teleport as well. The cocoon goes down. They turn this one right on the head of Team SoloMid.
Great roam right there by Sheep, especially. Yes, the teleport was there, but the surprising factor was Sheep coming in there for the Lantern and the Flake, granting XDG that first blood. Let's take another look here. ManCloud had the ball shield and his barrier, which was able to keep him alive, and then that 1 turret shot on one took was the edge too far that he had to go. Then just some nice skill shots, stun into play. Onwards dead to rights.
Very fast play. Thought they had ManCloud worked out, but the barrier keeping him alive. Oh no! Zig Special, the 1-2 lockdown, the flay, the rest of what they need to saute it. Special up and the flash down. The finger Bubblerooski.
Not close enough to the wall before the flash. Textbook mistake there by TSM. And what is going on this week in the LCS right here? Or even today?
No idea. Jatzuna feels like he's invincible. He finds the out one coming out of the backside. The Lantern saved from Sheep as the roam is good again.
Wow. Early advantages coming in for XDG. We just saw EG break their losing streak, but could XDG take down TSM? Now this is a meaningless standings game for TSM, but the overall effect of this week for TSM seems to have put them a little bit on tilt here. Not playing well.
Definitely an in their own minds type of game that they're playing. Nothing's really changed, but the rotation kind of being hit up here with this early game control that another team can get. It just seems to be their crutch. Level 6 is in the mid lane now. Huge surge of power, or spike I should say, for both of these mid laners. With the barrier down, ManCloud definitely has to be wary of Bjergsen's ult. Special and the rest of the team putting themselves in the right spot at the right time, but Xmithy wants a piece of this. Got to be very careful.
Oh, went a little early.
Yeah. Tad too early. Each member of TSM having a broom. They squat away Xmithy, and they come up with Dragon as well.
Yeah, trying to hero mode that one. He had the flash up, so he's like, I'm going to repel in, steal it, and flash out. The best laid plans of Xmithy mean no dragon and a death, unfortunately. It was just timing off. It was a dangerous proposition to begin with, and honestly, probably should not have happened.
I like what Sheep is doing as well. Zuna goes back to the bottom lane to farm, trying to create an opportunity in mid, but TSM is putting ward coverage up there. Not going to fool them twice with the support roam to mid lane.
Yeah, Sheep's roam has been very strong. The very early Sightstone, extremely beneficial for them. And really, the third and fourth turrets are going to be very telling. If we try to compare this game to the CLG game we saw earlier, where CLG, even though they traded the turrets early, quickly got a 4-2 turret advantage and then started Sightstone covering the map, catching people with nice roaming plays. That's what XDG wants to do to TSM here. TSM is pretty potent as far as wave clear, which makes it more difficult.
This is actually a really great game for Zuna to want to go back on Jinx. Not going to be harassed out too much. Nobody can jump on him right away. Keep themselves safe, and they even get the Thresh as well. And Sheep's not going to be missing any of those lanterns. So with Zuna having a safe game, it really works out for XDG in the long run.
Yeah. As this game progresses and we start reaching siege modes and potential team fights, Zuna will have to be fairly worried actually of Bjergsen. Jinx,
the 0 out.
Yeah, can very well get zeroed out by Syndra. Syndra has some of the nicest catch potential with that Scatter the Weak stun. Seen many a Syndra blow people up, especially squishies.
Almost hitting that one in the long range. You can see him using his distance to really kind of confuse ManCloud and where the ball might go. Blue buff to the mid lane means the siege clear and control of the minion waves should be pretty good for both Bjergsen and ManCloud, but Odd One, as he was with Reginald, always in the back pocket in mid. Not special, trying to get a little roam on for himself. They say we may want to try and push mid here, get something for ourselves. Let's get pink control, hold this.
The pink ward battles are very important here. The gold is evened out, so TSM actually responded fairly well to the rotational edges that XDG had gained early with that good group for the Dragon at that point. But there's the stun threat of Bjergsen. Look at the damage he can throw down. Still having his ultimate.
He takes the barrier into consideration there, knowing that it would kind of waste out. Look at the damage he can apply is causing the potions to be chugged from ManCloud. Bjergsen moving real fast on the outside of that wave to get that stun out. He's got himself a pink ward as well. Been starting to pick up a few more of those for the team.
So all the way until week 9 that Bjergsen decided to buy a pink ward finally. Also, just a random tidbit, Wild Turtle hasn't bought a sight ward for the duration of this split. He's the only player to not have bought a sight ward. He absolutely relies on X Special for that. It's teamwork.
Teamwork indeed. Or scumbag ADC, either or.
Yeah, one of the two. At least he puts down trinket wards.
That's true.
That counts.
Can't take that
He's bought a couple pink wards, to be fair.
Because he has to put it in his inventory.
Just none of the green ones.
16-3 pretty much across the board for gold, 2-1 in kills, but the turrets are evened as well. Doesn't look like XDG really gained too much off of that, and TSM may find an even mid-game where they'll be able to take control of this.
Yeah. TSM loves playing with a lead, as anyone does, but specifically TSM is one of the better teams at closing with one. Gonna try and shut down Benny. Benny's been happily farming for quite some time now. Trying the old top lane gank.
Pretty relaxed lanes, actually, except for the mid. Usually the 2v1 leaves those guys by themselves. That's where the action has been. ManCloud getting a push on here. They take the time of Bjergsen being out to get a push on the lane and possibly ward coverage over this Baron or Dragon. Coming up in a minute and a half. Smithy doesn't have too much follow-up on this, but he's going to try anyways. Odd One on the outside. Another shot. Repelled out on that one. Agony's Embrace as well was not effective. A few more shots. ManCloud flashes in for the body shield. Very nicely done. Great play by XDG on what looked quite scary.
Yeah, 4 people on TSM collapsing on them, but the majority of spells were lost. Yet up in the top lane, Dyrus solos out Benny, and ManCloud in trouble as well.
Oh, the missiles are hitting. Odd One's trying to go hard. He gets grabbed, but he hasn't taken turret aggro yet. Very good of him to keep a sense of mind to just hold off, keep his hands to himself. They're going to take down mid turret, and it looks like they're going to get nice positioning. Sheep was not expecting that. A little too close for comfort.
Neither was our camera, actually. That's how fast it was from Bjergsen right there. It's because his ultimate was actually held through all that engagement. They wanted the threat of it for the turret take, and that's why Sheep was able to fall. Just one more stun from Bjergsen, he finished him off.
Give TSM an inch, and they'll take 3,000 gold. That was just even a few minutes ago. 40 seconds on the Dragon means TSM is going to have control over that as well. Smithy trying to be pushed out here with a little bit of harass from Bjergsen. And they're even going to be able to get him off his own wraiths. Very big move there by TSM.
Yeah, take a look at this solo play right here. Really, Benny just didn't respect Dyrus. Quite honestly, he got tagged by the Twin Bite. Wasn't keeping his distance. Thought the minions would save him. And they did not. And then to take another look at the Sheep kill down bottom as well. He had been harassed a little bit low. Kind of thought he was safe here, and I believe it would have just been a nice stun by Bjergsen. Does he pick up the W, or does no? Just shot.
Just on the edge. He was thinking about it. He had the peripheral vision there. Blue buff over to Bjergsen as they reset, gain control, or actually just soak up their jungle. They have more than control in it. This ward's not going to do much for XDG. The teleport towards the top side here. Looks like Benny may want something. Nice Q coming from Xpecial actually on the side to really slow the team down.
No ultimate for Dyrus either. TSM does have to fall away. Low mana on Wild Turtle. Very little control here by TSM. They actually have to shop. They could end up losing a turret for this.
With Dragon alive, XDG will get mid. TSM backs onto this one, and XDG should pick up Dragon as well. Very good plays on TSM, wanting a little too much.
TSM pressing a little bit, as you would say. That last Dragon attempt really backfiring on them. They were smart enough to pull away when they realized it was a bad call, but still made the bad call to begin with, and XDG capitalizes.
They've closed at 3,000 gold in an instant. Now down to about 700. XDG making all the right moves every time they get the chance. Definitely a new team we're looking at here. A little sense of relief maybe with the added pressure of knowing they want to get the right pick as they go into the playoffs. Gold still just about 1,000 now as TSM had a bit of a lead in CS, but there were really no lanes to be won with this 2v1 swap. It's all up to the chaos and who can match it better.
Zuna's doing a pretty good job farming with Corki. I think Jinx scales much better into the late game than Corki. But around like level 16 or so, Corki's actually incredibly potent in his own right. So TSM will have a nice little jump of power if Wild Turtle can take the farm out.
Leveled on it as well. Says thank you very much. TSM is starting to say everything you have is ours.
Well, that's one way of stopping Zuna. Just blow him up with Syndra.
Like we said, he was getting a little too free of a game.
Yeah.
Able to farm too much. They finally take him out as both AD carries are trying to stack up that Bloodthirster. We do see also Wild Turtle going for the Zerk Greaves. Sneaky did that as well.
It is very hard to shove onto an Orianna, though. The wave clear. Immense, as you can see with that distance. And Turtle in the turret! He
has turret aggro. Gets out. It's going to be a big hit on that one. And very good plays from Sheep over and over.
Whoa. Not even close.
Threw out some countermeasures on that one. Got himself to safety.
Another TSM siege gets repelled there by nice play by Sheep. Does burn all the ultimates, really.
Yeah.
From XDG. Game's still close, though. Sorcerer Shoes being completed on Bjergsen. Magic penetration is actually at a all-time high for Bjergsen. He usually actually goes Void Staff after the Athene's Unholy Grail on Syndra for the stacking magic penetration. Base damages on Syndra's spike damage are also very high.
Yeah, we saw Sheep realizing that just a few minutes ago. Wild Turtle getting everything he can throughout the jungle. Team SoloMid has great pressure, and XDG isn't really falling into the engagements of Team SoloMid. They're making those engagements be their own, and Sheep's the one to find the eye. He's really playing in the mind of Team SoloMid right now every time they approach the mid turret, and we'll see what XDG can get out of the bottom. Pulling out the pink ward, they give themselves a little bit more safety to be crazy here.
Yeah, I wonder if Bodwin's going to be able to find a fight, or even if they want to find a fight. Benny is a bit of an X factor in this game. Whether he'll be able to farm up and really make a difference is Ryze. Top lane Ryze has had huge amounts of success. was just Nien, and then everyone else is kind of taking their time and picking him up, but seem to be here now. Inox was very successful with it last game. Benny, despite that one time getting soloed by Dyrus, still farming. Does have his Rod of Ages. And now they're actually hoping that Audon tries to gank here. This could very well erupt into a 4v4.
Bjergsen's coming down here quite blind. He only has the ward behind him. Like Smithy, not alert in there. They know the fight may go awry, so he gets that out. Position in the bottom lane now kind of goes to XDG if Smithy can get in here quite well. Wild Turtle now being split on the side. TSM not organizing correctly as Bjergsen moves back to the top, or the mid lane rather.
Second time this game, Turtle's been somewhere completely by himself and getting caught out a little bit. Cost him his first death. He no longer had his barrier from last time. But the push presents itself in the mid lane because XG's committed so much to the bottom. Bit of a turret race here.
TSM feeling comfortable to just walk around these turrets. You can see Bjergsen far behind ManCloud, not in a good spot. That should be it. The barrier's there. He is going to be safe. Very nice shield barrier down by him, but the turrets are going to be falling. Second tier, Dyrus takes that down by himself in mid lane, and it looks like could be a little bit of a fight. Zuna taking good damage. Agony's Embrace went down, but there's the shield coming in and the Lantern onto Zuna. Sheep's gonna make himself go down valiantly. Dyrus could be going for Dragon's Descent over the wall. The flash, the fly, and no, he does not hit it. It's gonna be one twin bite and a flame breath if he can get there. Bing, bang, and boom. They're gonna be taking, no, he does finally take down Zuna. Grits his teeth and gets the last hit in. Smithy's now trying to get this one. Odd One may have the W to get in and out of this fight. Throws down the speed. Very nice job, and it looks like they quickly get the safety with the help of Xpecial and the shield.
Little bit of craziness happens here for TSM, and they're the ones that come out on top in the chaos.
Very
Let's take another look
early
at
McHale's
yeah, they were really forcing this blue buff steal. Odd One actually gets an ultimate down as he smites, which starts us off very well at the bad advantage of XDG. Barrier burned while the Ignite was ticking, doesn't get the full use out of it. And then despite the nice skill shots landed by Zuna here, Dyrus continues the chase. I think Dyrus is expecting to instantly kill him here. So close there to spike out. Obviously the teleport comes in onto the minion wave and catches them in a tricky situation. I actually expected Benny to focus down Xpecial a little bit more. But instead he opts for Odd One and he's able to make an escape.
Level up helping much there for the Odd One. Also a very, very fast McHale is able to be built by Xpecial, really helping those fights to go in the favor of Team SoloMid when they're outnumbered. I don't think XDG was considering any of those items to be done at this point in the game. 20 minutes in, very good play here from Team SoloMid to take a 3,000 gold lead back into their favor, but we saw XDG close that in a matter of minutes last time that TSM had it.
XDG needs to make another play like they made last time. A lot of success has been found when they go for Wild Turtle and catch him out of position. His Corki, while it's one of his favorite AD carries, maybe makes him a little bit overconfident sometimes. And that's definitely happening this game.
Easy pick up for Zuna there. Easy knowledge for the team that they're going to be able to chase and synergize in these fights with a few slows and speed ups from dissonance. Once you get that on a level 5, you are getting the team some pretty good speed steroid to keep the fights going. And when you have as much lockdown as they do with Benny and Smithy, throwing out all the crowd control, XDG could get these fights. Still eyes on Bjergsen to zero out someone. We've seen Zuna get that and Sheep both within this game. So it's going to be very scary to match up. TSM putting down wards here as they have a 4,000 gold lead, 5-4 in turrets. As they leave Dyrus to split push, he has his teleport up. Benny does not, so I got to be careful about any engagements.
You're absolutely right. They have to be careful about any engagements right here. Game's at a pretty critical juncture, and that Void Staff is completed by Bjergsen. We talked about the Maddie penetration. ManCloud gets a little bit initiated on, but the hook!
They pull Odd One in. It looks like he could be in a bad situation, and he is. They use a heck of a lot of resources to take him down, however. A 3-man Dragon's Descent. ManCloud could get bit up. The barrier has to go down. Dyrus is eating all of the abilities as well as the turret. It's going to be Zuna picking up 2 kills for himself, and that one backfires.
Well, that's exactly why they have to be careful about the initiations that they find. Walking face first into a rise like that is always a dangerous proposition. Also, the AoE damage of Zuna and ManCloud together was huge in this fight. And Odd One just got the ultimate on one, which is actually not the cleanest catch. Tons of burst damage comes down on him, but the chase continues because Dyrus sees an opportunity to get a very good ultimate, but it's all about Sheep. The reason TSM is so delayed is because TSM had to walk through the box, and then what keeps Dyrus in once again was another play by Sheep. Tons of kills coming in for XDG off the back of that one.
Very good play. Sheep facing the mountain finished up as he brings some more gold into his pocket with 6 assists. The rest of the team able to now build out damage. Looks like a Rabadon's coming out for ManCloud. Very different pickup, thinking that Bjergsen can start zeroing people out, but the barriers kept him safe, so he chooses power.
Yeah, ManCloud hitting those items right now. Orianna with the death cap is an extremely scary foe, and he will hit that point very soon now. ManCloud as well. He has been picking up his game lately, even though XGG has not picked themselves up so far in the standings. But his farm has been best in the LCS as far as ability to get minions down. Obviously, that's a lot of because they're defending. He's played a lot of Ziggs. He's done a lot of wave clear.
Right.
But even his CS at 10 minutes average is higher than any other mid laner in the North American LCS. Getting out farm this game on Bjergsen, but still a big factor in teamfights.
Also, with the length of XDG's games, ManCloud, one of the mid laners that receives the most blues in the LCS. Loving, like you said, to throw out, playing those Ziggs, being able to spam all of his abilities. And the team lets him focus that. They're saying, take every blue you want. Not going to need it on a Smithy on Elise. So why not get the power down? Level 13s and 12s around. 14 for Bjergsen, but matched on both sides pretty much. Gold lead isn't too big for TSM still, which should be scaring them. XDG usually tries to push themselves into a scary situation, and that gold lead will just influx for TSM very quick. But with the ability for XDG to hold, they have the ability to come back.
Yeah, of course. It's the slight turret edge for TSM.
Yep.
But the Orianna Rise Jinx scaling potential in this match is something TSM has to really be worried about. And like we saw with XGG and EG being eliminated from the playoffs, but still fighting to try and get the 7th seed to eventually have a better chance in the promotion tournament. Both of those teams came into the season with very high expectations, and we know that this XGG lineup, based on last season, has the potential to be great.
Yeah.
You know, they actually had some very good games at World Championships last year. They were second in the regular season standings in the summer split, and it was this huge collapse. But they're looking pretty good against this TSM team. A lot of it has to do with TSM looking weak lately, not adjusting very well to the patch, and honestly just being sloppy, having poor positioning. But XGG cannot be disregarded, ever. This just goes to show you that, you know, any LCS game can go either way.
And they're doing everything they can to get at least rise to the late game as well. Benny still 4 levels to 18, can still a huge factor in this game. 40 seconds on Dragon as Team SoloMid starts to put pressure on Baron. Team SoloMid will feel that they have the stronger engage around objectives, as they usually have all year, so they're going with what has worked when things are looking strange. 7-7 in kills. XDG has been able to find just as much teamwork as Team SoloMid in this game. Just a 1v1 in the top lane between Dyrus and Benny is all we've seen, opposed to the fights in the mid.
The 15 seconds till the Dragon is very key right now. Whoever can control this one, if XGG can get a catch. Remember, TSM is still ahead in gold, and Corki's actually extremely strong right now. If Wild Turtle can propel rockets in from the back of the teamfight, it would mean a very difficult teamfight for XGG. They're obviously very aware of that fact. It's going to be very key to have a strong initiation on both sides.
Great splash of damage from the Q dissonance from ManCloud, trying to command everything. Also, give the shield to Zuna. You can see where the ball stands right now.
Could be it. There's the E-ball.
The repel comes out. Agony's Embrace again doesn't hit that much. Smithy is forced out of the fight immediately, and TSM has a huge power and numbers advantage, but they take about 1,500 damage across 3 members instantly. If they can focus, they can still win it, and it looks like coming through and funneling the Tri-Brush is the right decision, as XDG has already scattered in fear from TSM on the re-engage.
That was a really cool fight right there by TSM, and the Bjergsen stun is really what did it for them. It looked really rough when the shockwave landed from ManCloud Orianna. You know, all things considered, TSM comes out ahead in that one. Now 9 kills to 7 despite not getting the dragon.
Crazy fight with Team SoloMid now coming out on top of that.
Take another look at this fight, obviously.
Check it out.
It's the Orianna ult at the same time that Bjergsen hits everyone with the stun. And that actually allows TSM to line up more AoE damage because right there, beautiful shockwave, but an even better stun at that point, which means Odd One and Dyrus could continue the chase through. Just a little bit of better numbers, and then they had the Corki for the choke point. An incredibly close fight. Both teams actually grouping up. And TSM just having a bit more.
Oh no, the save again from Sheep. Always in the right place at the right time for Zuna. That's what you get when you play that Jinx. You need the safety of a Thresh on the outside, or Zuna would have gone down numerous times by now.
Yeah.
Pushed by Dyrus in the bottom lane here on the last turret. Seeing that inhibitor in his eyes, he is not going to give up, and it looks like XDG can't really send too much to him. Zuna's going to have some rockets to fire, but he's already getting damage on the turret, and XDG is far away from guarding any of this.
Yeah, XDG definitely losing map control here, and Dyrus is becoming a big-time threat. Saw in that last fight. That Banshee's Veil plus Blade of the Ruined King are making him a force to be reckoned with. Magic Resist stacking Shyvanas against double AP teams are a force to be reckoned with. That's actually one of the big reasons XDG was able to defeat Cloud9 earlier on in the year. They would know all about that.
This is actually working out good for Turtle as well. Although we see Corki doing good magic damage, Benny's considering that he's not building armor yet. Spirit Vision's coming in first, or at least the Spectral's Cowl. And Wild Turtle will be able to kind of cut him down without that armor. Smithy finding one, and Turtle's on the other side. Cheap again in the right spot. He always kind of keeps himself in a trifecta between his teammates, so anybody can get the save. Damage on a Turtle, very nice shot, but they quickly trade in as the Gatling's on. They're trying for more. Only one, no, two get hit by the command shockwave along with the rocket. It's not going to be the follow-up, though. It's a lot of range that they have to make up if they want to follow.
Yeah. It's really just a battle of the Man-Cloud and Bjergsen game right there. Dyrus forever, though, is in that bottom lane.
Benny, with that magic resistance, can probably fight Dyrus for a good while. It's going to be a back and
coming
forth.
in, though. Behind XDG!
He hits it, still has Dragon's Descent, doing all the damage onto Zuna. Is the Lantern there? It is once again, but it's too much damage coming from Turtle. He finds his mark, and he gets the double kill. Now he could have the Valkyrie with Odd One if they continue to chase, but they say it's Baron time.
And it is absolutely Baron time. A 5v3 force right now. That was a great teleport by Dyrus, and Bjergsen catches Smithy as well.
Boom! That's the ultimate, but there's the command protect. The repel down into Bjergsen. The ignite will take out Smithy, but a great play by the team to take another 1-for-1.
Baron continues. Man-Cloud is low on mana, but there are the solo laners, double AP. A lot of damage here still left for XDG. TSM peels off.
Got to be very careful. Man-Cloud is low on mana, and Benny cannot do much either. No blue buffs revolving around this XDG team, so they're just trying to stop the pressure to Baron. They've done so.
And everything calms down just a little bit. That overall initiation by TSM, though, was really solid. Dyrus starting to get his head back in the game very clearly. Some clutch teleports and some great flanks on Shyvana here. Definitely making Zuna pay for that immobile Jinx pick. Finding ways onto him is a huge priority.
XDG making the right switch-ups in gameplay, holding TSM.
Yeah. Another look at this teleport. You can see
gold.
XDG was in a whole lot of trouble once that teleport started coming in. Dyrus really just focuses on Zuna. Zuna, it's arguable whether that Lantern should have been taken or if he should have just kept running away from Dyrus. When that ended up happening, it does cost Sheep his life as well. And it's a wonder that XDG could really hold that one off after the fact.
A great shot by Turtle in there too, threading the needle on that right past Sheep. Let's see what these AD carries have for each other is. We see a lot of damage coming from both of them recently, and they've kind of matched up in items, but Triforce to the Phantom Dancer right now. So Zuna's looking to get that area of effect crit on his pow-pow rockets.
Baron is a huge resource at this point, but considering TSM couldn't do it in a 5v3, they're mainly just looking for catches here. The stun catch of Bjergsen is the most key thing at this point. If they can land one, it's huge, and that's why Banshee's Veils are also incredibly important for XDG to finish. It was completed there on deck Smithy. Benny will have his soon, and Zuna is on the way as well. Those Veils are incredibly important. There's a box on the other side, though. A little bit of action.
Indeed. Thought that it might be aggression towards the fight. We do see that ManCloud has taken into consideration that blue elixir, blue buff on him as well. Always love to see Orianna's waltz around a fight and outplay, but Bjergsen has the same control with that ball position. He can zone and help the team get position here. XDG putting 5 strong in mid as both teams gather. Pressure for the Dragon. I don't know if XDG is going to try to do anything. There's nothing for them to push.
Gold lead is very close. He's going to try another steal, maybe. He repelled a little bit too far away, could not jump down.
Spreading that lead. Now about 5,000 in the favor of Team SoloMid. 3 of 5 Dragons this game. So XDG is still trying to keep themselves at least in the positioning. You get a lot. A lot of those Dragons for TSM have been the most recent ones, which shows you that XDG
this is a big rush. They just saw Odd One get shown on the other side. Benny popped his ultimate for all this damage. A huge and dangerous force right here, but Baron is down, and there's no vision control by TSM. This could just go to them.
Even if Odd One made it, there's not going to be a smite up. Like Smithy and XDG making a very good call to go for Baron, and they get it for themselves 33 minutes in.
Well, Dragon, not greater than Baron. TSM over-invested on the bottom half of the map too late in the game, and XDG capitalizes. And no wards being up. You can see TSM really heavy on the sweepers, because 4 sweepers meant they were heavily trying to deny vision for stuff like Baron, but the risk you run when you buy so many sweepers in close games is actually just losing the vision control yourself, which is exactly what happened with that Baron.
XDG now realizing that TSM doesn't have much of the initiation as well. Bjergsen's stun or Dyrus teleporting in perfectly is what they have. XDG working around that window nicely now brings the gold lead, oh, I should say deficit for themselves to 2,000. They're going to back out here playing it very safe, only taking what they need for now.
And this is the XDG type of game. You know, when they've been good this year, they draw out the long games. Zune is on a late game AD carry. Orianna is incredibly strong in the late game as well, and Ryze is just a monster. He can get a little bit more cooldown reduction into his build. I am a little curious why everyone in XDG just now went back and bought pink wards, however, because that's generally used to control vision in the Baron area. They don't need to really control vision right now. They need to siege up and start split pushing.
Right now they're trying to dictate, seems like mid lane, get that Baron used and get the map opened up in that second tier turret. We're tied in turrets right now. Nobody really has an opening on the base. You can see the gold strewn across both of these teams. Quite close in every position. Nobody with like a giant 1,000 gold lead. Actually looking at Wild Turtle. He does, as I see 2,000 gold there. Sheep and the rest of the team, got to be very careful just on the outside of that stun, which would have been some unwanted damage.
They're aggressively taking down this turret. If they get caught by another stun, and if it's a squishy target, TSM might just initiate. However, the team fight potency of XDG is shown through in a lot of these fights, and they took a huge chunk of that turret. They may just power it down on this next push. Stun out, that means they go.
Yeah, Odd One's not even in position to flank around this fight. They know that Baron's just a little too much for them to fight against right now. And with Baron being down, XDG could decide to go ahead and get some pressure on this bottom lane now that they can.
Yeah, with this TSM team composition, they have heavily relied their initiation and catch potential on one guy and one spell even. Bjergsen has to land the stun with Syndra in order for them to get initiation. So that means he needs to be incredibly protective of that cooldown, because as soon as you see him use that E, it means XDG has no punishment for anything they do. As soon as he used that in the previous engagement, TSM just went, or XDG just went in for the turret. So Bjergsen needs to just spam his Q and his W on the wave and save his E to keep XDG at bay.
Well, it's only going to get harder if XDG can control this side of the map. Bjergsen's going to be without a blue consistently. And that's what we see XDG focusing on right now. That's going to mean more for ManCloud to position the ball, more shields, and more speed ups for his team to really get positioned in this fight. Let's see how they can keep protected. The Banshee's Veil is definitely helpful for that first scat of the week. And like you said, if that's what they use to initiate, and it's just hitting a Banshee's Veil, TSM has quite a while to find the fight they want.
Yeah, Dyrus is trying to set up a flank attack as well. But it's difficult because of the wards that XDG has down on the approach.
Something we saw last game with Inox's teleports is they were perfectly chosen. Never really in sight of the fight or in the fight, but just on the outside. A allowing the team to think, or the opposing team to think they had the upper hand. Now, with the team all 5 down mid, Odd One's going to probably reveal himself here, so nothing from TSM is going to be too much of a shock to XDG, but they're still going to have to recuperate and get TSM out of their jungle.
TSM hoping to catch someone out of place here. They very well may have.
Ooh.
They did not realize Jinx wasn't here. Bjergsen may have even been instantly killed without the flash, but they could still theoretically look for something.
That was definitely a second-guessed Orianna shockwave. Dyrus goes into the fight, the Rune Prison goes down. A lot of the crowd control that would be used for Odd One now allows him to run quite free, but there is not enough focus. Grab from Sheep, but there isn't focus. Like I'm saying, everybody's trying to get the safety with one bit of death. The flash play causing the gap close to be used in defense here from TSM and Wild Turtle, and they try to get themselves out of the fight. The jungle is not anywhere these teams wanted to be fighting right now. Comes back on it. The Ignite goes down. That should be a dead Xmithy, and he does crumble in the end of the fire. 1 for 1, and what a chaotic jungle fight.
Yeah, it just goes to show you how close this game actually is and how strange the team fights really are going to be for TSM, because they do not have that much realistic lockdown. They have a lot of damage, they have a lot of scattering, they have decent move speed, but just no lockdown, so a cohesive team fight is difficult for them to pull off. XDG with superior control, despite going for 1-for-1, does push TSM back. Obviously, Shockwave's burned for flash right at the start. XDG is going to be taking the dragon in the side screen. But really, this was about Zuna making it to the team fight as quickly as possible so that XDG could continue. When Dyrus saw that Zuna wasn't there, he went in right away. He tried to Randuin's down to get the slow. But yeah, everyone was just scattered up. And now we may just see a fight in the mid lane. Benny, getting speed.
Oh, man. Also, TSM putting on that speed steroid to get them to safety. Loving this man cloud play. He keeps just scrolling the ball over these Banshee's Veils during the fight, so all the damage he's won is really hitting. The Banshee's Veils are just kind of going to waste here for Dyrus and the rest of the team, as they think that's what the rest of the team needs to get in.
As far as efficiency of Veils, so to speak, XDG's Banshee's Veils are much more valuable. Corki will do a very good job of at least breaking them, but if they can protect their Banshee's Veils, it shuts down Bjergsen, which is the only reliable initiation for TSM. Whereas XDG has many more options for that initiation, and the Banshee's Veil will not just completely shut it down.
Well, they're only missing one, and Sheep already has a Spectral's Cowl, so once they get that up, fearless fights will be happening from XDG. Great farm as well coming into this game. 40 minutes in, 365 to 353 in the mid lane with all the chaos that's been happening in shared CS after the
initiation
2v1
lane.
Crazy. Oh man, a hook onto it special. One of the guys to help speed up, initiate, and control the fights. Can TSM regroup for the kill? Dyrus is by himself. Wild Turtle cannot get missiles in from that range on the outside, and XDG goes to refight, but it will not happen. Nice catch on Bjergsen, but Xmithy has to get the kill here. That rocket could be enough for the follow-up. One last attack, and it was the clockwork wind-up auto coming in from ManCloud. The perseverance pays off.
How important are those kills going to be? It is 2 for none, and XDG is powering through for this inhibitor.
The Glacial Shroud allowing Benny to take a few shots to the face there. Team SoloMid not being able to regroup. XDG has taken a 3,000 gold lead now after being down 5K in the past 6 or 7 minutes.
TSM has lost control of this game. They got hooked once again. Their control in team fights is lacking as well, and they are completely on their back foot here. But XDG is forcing this Baron. The res timers are kind of up for TSM. They're without their initiation man. That does not mean they're without threat. That Baron go down fast though.
Smite is up. Agony's Embrace could be up here in a few seconds for the Odd One. That would be perfect. Hate Spikes throws down ManCloud's Banshee's Veil. Dyrus in, Odd One in. Throws down the Agony's Embrace, but was it enough? You see how much damage XDG took on the front end. Is there enough DPS follow-up? They are kiting and fighting this perfectly. Xmithy's trying to stay out so Zuna can hit the shots, but it's not enough to cancel out any HP bars, and Wild picks up a double.
And they didn't finish off the Baron, which is actually crucial for TSM right there. Can't wait to see that one again. Something funny happened with Dyrus' Siobhan ultimate. Either he hit it into the wall or he got flayed out. It could have been even more disastrous for XDG. They're actually going for the Baron right now. No Smite alive, but everyone on XDG went back. This could be a TSM Baron. No one can contest it.
They don't have too much movement. Mega Inferno Rocket not up. Or Mega Death Rocket, I should say. And it looks like this is going to be an easy peasy. Baron goes in, scatter the weak and scatter the Nasher. TSM picks it up. Level 18's now cresting into this game. Let's see how this plays out.
Look at the Baron getting peeled off of. I believe it was very low. Dyrus got knocked up as he was ulting in. But even so, this cluster of XDG really stood in the place where they shouldn't against the TSM team and allowed Wild Turtle to get a lot of his AoE off. And it's the danger of trying to force Baron sometimes. XDG had that Baron very low. They could have opted into a Smite War, but did not. And it ends up costing them the Baron anyway.
MVP Baron crowd control. Gold still very close. What an awesome game coming in. 90% vote. 93%. Not so much. Looking pretty 50-50. XDG is trying to grab more percent in their favor right now, and they've gotten it with middle and hib. They just have to get a little bit more on the outside so they can start to scatter Team SoloMid when they're grouped as 5, and it's going to be in their base. I'm sure XDG will have trouble in that kite and fight. All this open area has really allowed them to come on top of these fights. Yeah,
there's a pretty good chance as well that because of how close this game is, and especially the Baron going to the team that has no inhibitor, pretty fast team. I wanted to say something, but they're running so fast, and he's isolated right now.
They got the speed up from Xpecial, but they didn't talisman on that. They kind of just held it off. They thought they had enough, but it still moves XDG out, and
they're out of position.
Really
TSM
good.
Might be able to get a fair bit of turret damage here. Home guard boots coming out, of course. Oh man, how much follow-up? People were not in position. Baron Buffalo regen. Bjergsen though.
Oh, onto Bjergsen. They don't want it. No! Then he flashes in. A little miscommunication. Great shockwave from the backside on ManCloud. Dyrus is into the fight along with Odd1. They are still trying to do the DPS. Nobody's touching Zuna. 67-second timers on the clock here for Dyrus. Bjergsen looking at 50. And XDG's running down with a catch. The repel. Smithy's going to take a chop out of this. ManCloud gets it, and they're going for the base.
It is a 5 versus 2 now. An exposed inhibitor still exists. They catch even more. This could be the game, Riv.
They give him it. Is the dissonance there for the speed up? Why aren't they going for the base? They're going for Turtle. This should be a fast enough kill. He Valkyries. They got to leave it. They have to go for the base right now. That is going to be up to ManCloud and Benny, but they aren't doing huge damage. Why are they still chasing?
Well, Xsmithy also gets it turned around by Wild Turtle here, but that just means another person gone for TSM in this base race. This is an interesting fight. Turtle gets him, but watch the push now. Odd1 trying to defend solo.
20 seconds on 3 members right now. Team SoloMid, Master MVP inhibitor coming up, and XDG's gonna have to retreat on the base with the elongated chase.
Wow, Riv, is really what I have to say for that. First off, that hook that hit for against TSM at the very start of it, and Bjergsen going down, very well should have been the game for XDG to finish off TSM there. They had enough kills. If they push 5v3 strong in against Turtle and Odd1, they at least get some Nexus turret down. Let's just watch this fight. Once again, Xpecial is very low coming into this, but it's mainly catching Bjergsen with the stun. Means they can chain it. Benny gets him with the root, and everyone bursts him down. Then Benny doesn't fall either. His Seraph shield is huge. We don't have time for replays in this game though, Riv, because they're pushing mid.
TSM has to put the pressure back on. They didn't even lose more than what was already down. XDG only retook the inhibitor.
They still are missing an Elise, so it could be an inhibitor for an inhibitor.
Wow.
Unless we get another catch right here.
The gold is completely even. TSM tries to take down the inhibitor, 16-15 in this one. Nobody's going to fall on this, neither the inhibitor as well. So XDG does stave off super minions down the front door, but the bottom lane, they have to clean that up too. Every team is in damage control right now, and they're trying to clean it up.
How much closer can this game get? Dragon is being taken right now, but this could also be a point of contention. Look out, TSM.
Oh, missing the cocoon, splitting the uprights on that, but they do get positioning. I don't know how much gold is really going to matter here. They don't have time to back for the items they need to buy. Looks like they're going to get some vision down, and maybe they will. A little bit of a breather.
Okay. Wild Turtle, just to get it out there, completely saved TSM. The fact that he was able to distract enough time from XDG and then also solo Xsmithy is the sole reason, in my opinion, that TSM hasn't lost right now.
Yep.
With that being said, there's a few things we need to keep in mind here. XDG is superior in team plays. If they can force their objectives properly, TSM will still lose this game, and there's exposed inhibitor on their side. But we know the individual playmaking of TSM. Bjergsen still has a lot of damage. If he can catch the right guy, he can delete Zuna. It's still an immobile Jinx at some point. And Wild Turtle is really fed right now. Max item core, he can still make a big difference. It's really on the shoulders of Bjergsen and Wild Turtle to make something happen and overcome the superior team fighting and gold advantage of XDG.
We'll see if Sheep can still make plays. Very awesome plays from just everybody from XDG and Team SoloMid in this game to keep it playing. Wild Turtle with saves on one side, Sheep with saves on the other. And XDG really wants to get this win in. A huge momentum boost as they go into promotions. Blue is going to be taken out, something we've seen and noticed that Bjergsen hasn't been able to get this for a while. Maybe one through about the 5 or 6 that they've had in the last 10 minutes.
Number 5.
Yeah, 10 minutes.
Yeah, and 5 Banshee's Veils on XDG as well. Meaning it's even more on Turtle and Bjergsen. Turtle has to break Banshee's Veils with Corki missiles so Bjergsen can find initiations. But a little bit of a position edge. They are forcing, though, where it is dangerous. Let's see if XDG gets things going shortly. XDG actually wants to wait for their flashes before the next fight. It's very critical that they can chain crowd control on priority targets. And the flashes are needed for that so they can get in range to do so.
We'll hit on to Benny. Dyrus is able to get good damage onto the top turret. TSM is trying to just brute force control back into their favor. But even on that, XDG was looking to get something. They are very sure about their fights.
Yeah, neither team is afraid to fight here. Pretty much 50 minutes in. The game time of this game is going to most likely be longer than our first 2 games today combined.
Yep.
Just to show you
that passes in just a few minutes. A little bait, maybe.
Oh dear. There's no Shyvana here, though.
That's great. Smithy, very smart play.
He didn't see the real threats, though.
Right.
With Baron up, they desperately want this ward control.
He knows he's toying with it. So they have vision on 1. That's definitely going to help a little bit, the sweep.
They're trying to make sure they can get up there with a group. Still no scrying. Or Benny, though, walking into a bad place. What a bait!
Benny, they wanted the top lane, but they're going to have to chase for this. Sheep was ready to get him out of that, but he forced the flash. Very good plays coming in, so they now know where TSM is. Warded that. Would have been very big, and it would have meant the game.
Well, Benny found him, and the Banshee's Veil saves his skin right there. Oh, dear. Plus the Seraph Shield keeps him alive. He's going to try and get back there as quickly as possible. What a good guess for TSM. Just isn't executed.
Not many times if you're considering a shield that big coming out, saving his life. Now XDG slowly gaining control. I don't think we're going to see one person walking into any brush anytime soon. You can see single lanes here, almost reaching 20,000 personal gold. This game is getting out of hand.
Well, here comes the Baron Force again. This bit XGG. Last time they did it, the Baron is very low. Do they opt to finish or do they peel for a fight? They're afraid of the fight, they peel off.
All about the ward coverage now. Something that XDG had quite a bit of, but the game goes back to being even once again between these guys. We saw XDG with a moment, a glimpse and a chance to take down the Nexus, but TSM having Wild Turtle in the mind and the sense to pull XDG off the base. Now leading them here, the front door.
We're still within 200 gold
of
the 2 teams right now. And it is just a crazy dance between Baron, back and forth. Karma speeding up TSM, Orianna speeding up XDG. And who is going to catch who first is really, there's a lot of tight corridors here. Well, so much danger afoot.
Not too much vision coming in. They have a backside ward on Baron. It means it's dark for him on the inside of the pit. Benny really with the only strength to be the first one in. Xmithy can repel, but then he has nowhere to go to, and it just gives the team. Everybody's trying to play the Banshee's Veil game right now.
How many bubbles can you pop here? Is the question. Spider, can he get
one?
Huzzah!
Oh, there's a Guardian Angel behind it.
Yeah, there's more.
Behind door number 1 is more life.
Actually, a huge minion wave. Taking down the inhibitor of XGG is going to peel Benny back. He does have his teleport, though, so he's got to clear this really fast. And then probably teleport back in. His XDG, TSM is slowly.
Nice.
The ball is scouting. Catch on Xmithy. Here comes the fight.
That's the repel. Sheep's by himself. He's the one to throw safety to the team. Zuna's getting some nice shots on the outside. Ooh. The teleport coming in. It could be what they need. Very strong play here. Dyrus getting pushed out. Odd1 gets taken down. They get the Q on him from Benny. 20 seconds on the Dragon, but it's nobody's eyes. They're looking for something big here.
The minion waves are also wrecking XDG's base right now if they're not careful. They're still forcing this. Odd1 is dead, so there's no spike, but they're very low. The damage is what they're worried about.
Out to X-Special. Gotta watch Xmithy taking damage on the inside. They're trying to decide what to do in the confusion. Dyrus comes back very hard after healing up on home guard. It's gonna be big damage. Bjergsen, double kill for Zuna. Looking at the triple kill. The zap misses off to the right shoulder of X-Special, and it's still the back and forth chase. TSM is trying to hold XDG in this area so they can't gain more.
ManCloud also chasing down X-Special, but the heal from his tether right there is keeping it up, and they're still going for the Baron. Their base is getting destroyed right now by minions, but they do win the fight, and they're just going for the advantage.
Taking the Baron does not allow them to get into the base. Baron will be theirs. They had quite a bit of time to work with, but playing it safe, but somewhat still very scary. Yep. 19-17, chat. We're 54 minutes in, and XDG finally breaks the even gold of 25 minutes with only 4,000.
Yeah, they're still kind of sticking around looking for more, though. This is a interesting proposition. They have a fair bit of tankiness. There is still 26, 20, and 30 seconds on the death timers of TSM. How much are they really going to go for here? No 80 carry up to stop them here. They take the inhibitor because it's safe, but do not go farther.
Seeing what X-Special has, it might have looked good. The elixirs are something he's building out, but we usually see Karma with a lot more damage right now. But with TSM having in such an even game, they're not getting the power that we've seen out of a 300, 400 AP Karma by now.
ManCloud says the blue is more important than the Dragon right now, which is actually true for him.
Yeah.
Being able to stay max mana and getting more cooldown reduction for the team fight in Orianna is so critical. It also allows him to double up on blue buffs between Ryze and ManCloud.
Some 400 damage in a 1.8 second move on that ball. So much crazy control to come out of these fights. You can see his flash is down. Flash is down as well. Coming up for Benny. A lot of summoners that will be crucial to this fight if Bjergsen can get that stun off. Our XDG. They got to be a little bit more careful.
It's 55-minute epic. So far going to be more. Didn't expect this.
Like I said, man, super weak always pleases.
With how good TSM has been all year, but this has not been their week. They have not performed whatsoever, whereas XDG really wants to perform this week so that they can get the 7th seed and not the 8th and have some say in their promotion tournament fate. Huge team fight competition coming in for XDG as well. ManCloud has been playing ridiculously well on Orianna. A game with this much chaos to be unkilled while still having 17 of the 19 kills participated in.
Completely.
Hugely impressive.
Completely a turnaround from when he played it against Curse. They are having way better results. Banshee's Veil's nicely being popped by Turtle. Buying a little bit of time on what initiation. He's actually going like 2 for 2 on that. So can you see if we can get any more here? Really, Smithies is just the last one to be hit. Turtle himself rushing that Guardian Angel to keep himself alive in the fights. He knows he can stay on the back line and poke it out. Where is the entrance here for XDG?
It's all about getting a stun or a good bit of damage done on the one person. Dyrus gets hooked. Whoa! There it is.
Absolutely taken out. 74 to 5 seconds on the clock. Odd1 goes in from the right side. Can Turtle start dishing out the damage? They are only going back and forth to micro in the scare, but they're not really bringing the fight along with it.
Yeah, they want to regen a little bit, make sure their spells are back up and that they have minions. There's also a super minion wave on TSM's Nexus turrets that will require attention, so they will have a temporary 3v5 if they want it.
XDG did a great self to put them spot here. XDG going in for the fight, and Bjergsen's gonna get hit up very hard. Doesn't even get a chance to breathe. Odd1's the next to go down. The Guardian Angels are already hit up. And XDG looking for the second Nexus turret, looking to take this game off of Team SoloMid. And it's gonna be a good rough roll for them as they go through 22 to 18. 57 minutes on the clock. And they take down the Nexus, taking out Team SoloMid.
Wow, right there for XDG. What a ridiculous series of events here. 57 minutes and they take down TSM. This actually means that XDG has one victory against every team in the LCS, but only one. Unreal.
Finding what they need. very big credit going to the entire team to play the composition the way they needed to. Sheep with save after save to Zuna at 2 to 300 HP, which would have meant a huge point to capitalize on for TSM. They never got those points in this game. They were always looking for something when they're usually dictating it.
Yeah.